Repeat group. Performance task handout 2. You will hear a lecture on different architectural styles. While listening, take notes on all the main points and important details of the lecture. You will hear the lecture once.
Good morning, everyone. In today's lecture, we'll be talking about a number of different architectural styles and their characteristics. So, what is an architectural style then? Well, an architectural style is formed by the features that make a building or other structure notable and historically identifiable. It may include such elements as form, method of construction, building materials, and regional character. Okay then, today I'll talk about 4 architectural styles. Please take notes on these architectural styles and their characteristics. So, let me start with organic architecture. Organic is a widely used term today, from food and clothing to cosmetics and furniture. In architecture, however, this term means something different. So, what is organic architecture? Organic architecture is a philosophy of architecture that promotes harmony between human habitation and the environment. So, what do I mean by saying that it promotes a kind of harmony between human habitation and the natural world? Well, organic architecture is, in a way, the symbolic relationship of nature with architecture. In organic architecture, the relationship between the building and its surrounding environment is very important. The building should complement its environment, and it should look as if it grew naturally out of the ground. The design of the building is inspired by nature, and the designer mostly uses natural colors. Okay, so if organic architecture is clear, now let's move on to the second architectural style. The second architectural style that I'm going to talk about is zoomorphic architecture. Let me spell it for you. Z-O-O-M-O-R-P-H-I-C, zoomorphic. Zoomorphism is a movement in building design where buildings are inspired by the shapes of animals. Zoomorphic shapes are created by merging, that is, combining a man-made shape with an animal shape. This architectural style features buildings that look like birds, whales, shrimps, etc. Animals as inspiration for architects has been around for a long time, but because of computer-aided design and new materials available today, architects are able to design much more freely. Architects design skyscrapers, airport terminals, and art museums that resemble animals, parts of animals, and animal skeletal structures. Although in the past this architectural style was popular for educational buildings, especially university buildings, it was relatively rare for corporate projects. Now it has become favored for many government projects, tower blocks, and shopping centers. The third architectural style that I want to mention is Googie architecture. G-O-O-G-I-E, Googie architecture. Googie is a type of postmodern architecture that originated in California in the 1940s. The movement was inspired by the car culture of those times. In California, many people traveled by car, and because of it, they missed a lot of commercial activity. Businesses wanted to attract the attention of these drivers, and in order to grab their attention, the buildings had to stand out by their weird and interesting designs. This was how Googie architecture was born. The signatures of the Googie architecture were geometric shapes, use of bright colors, glass, and neon lights. Coffee shops, gas stations, and fast food venues used this type of architecture in order to attract customers. A Googie building was a symbol that a business was ahead of its time. The final style I'd like to talk about is brutalist architecture. Let me spell that for you. Brutalist. B-R-U-T-A-L-I-S-T. Brutalist architecture is a style of architecture that made its appearance in the 1950s. The movement was centered in England. However, in the following decades, the style spread across the whole world. The primary building material that is used in brutalist architecture is concrete. In many architectural styles, designers try to hide the actual building materials because these materials are not always considered to be attractive. However, this is not true in brutalist architecture. Brutalist designs do not hide the building materials. On the contrary, they make these materials visible. The most important thing in brutalist architecture is the function of the building, not the decorations that make the building beautiful. The buildings look like undecorated concrete blocks, visually heavy. During the second half of the 1980s, brutalism fell out of favor as it was considered to be a cold and totalitarian type of architecture. So, that's all the time we have for now. Next week, we will continue